What up, you guys? So the bracket came out yesterday, 2017. March Madness is here, and I just wanna, I just wanna, it's been about a day, about 24, 26, 20. I don't know how many hours now that it's been marinating. So, I'm ready. I'm ready to share my picks, and so let's get right to it. So in the East, Villanova's gonna take down Mount St. Mary's. I think is gonna come out of here. And it is just a toss up. I'm just gonna choose Wisconsin just because, matter of fact, for no reason at all. I just look at the record, and that's pretty much it. I mean, this is just one of those games that you know can go either way. You could say. A lot of people taking UNC Wilmington here. There's something special about those 12-5 seeds because the 12 seed, it's the best team from a lower conference versus a mediocre team from a power conference. So it's one of those, it's like a perfect storm, sort of say, for a 12 seed to beat a 5 seed, and that's why you get a lot of upsets in this particular type of games. But I just think University of Virginia is just too strong for Wilmington. I like how they play though. I like their coaching. I like how they stick to tradition down there. But I think UVA is going to take this one. I like Prentice's and his leadership, senior leadership qualities. Here, I'm gonna take East Tennessee. I think Florida has been playing a bit fatigued lately, and I just think that East Tennessee, they did lose 7 games. That's a lot. They are a 13th seed, and there's actually been more 15 seeds to beat 2 seeds than 13 has beat 4 in the past several years. So I mean, it's my only 13 beating a 4. But I think this one is, like I said earlier, with this, it's a perfect combination for Eastern Tennessee. I think they were giving Florida, and I think they're gonna hand them that L. So I like USC to beat Providence. That's just bias. I'm from Los Angeles, and I think USC should be able to beat Providence. But I don't think USC will beat SMU. I think SMU 30-win team is just way too strong, a higher caliber team, and they're just going to come out of this one easily against USC. The Trojans are, they had a good start, bumpy second half of the season, but SMU has been consistent all throughout, and they've played more power teams compared to USC. So I think they just have the better squad when it comes, and better experience when it comes to shove. So I like Baylor here. Baylor is a team just like USC, a very, very good start to the season, but then stumbled along the road. I don't think New Mexico will catch on to them at all. I think Baylor will, bulldoze over New Mexico State there, setting up a good, nice second round matchup there. South Carolina and Marquette. Um, this one I like Marquette. I like Marquette because they're very high powered offense, and I just think South Carolina. I think honestly they should be more of a 9 seed. I don't think. I think they were a little bit overseeded, 10 losses on the season. But I just like Marquette there, and I really I don't even know how Troy got in there. One of those teams where what the hell. But Duke is definitely going to take this one. It's going to be one of those blowouts, one of those 70-40 games, something like that. Whoops. All right, and then Gonzaga, South Dakota State. Really no chance for the Jackrabbits there. Northwestern and Vanderbilt. Everybody talks about Northwestern. Everybody been talking about Northwestern because it's their first appearance in the Big Dance, and it's a lot of alma mater for a lot of people in the sports world, at Fox Sports, at Yahoo Sports, at ESPN. It's a big school for them. It's a school of journalism, and that's pretty much why everybody's high and everybody's excited about Northwestern. But Vanderbilt, I feel like Northwestern I feel like Vanderbilt can beat any other 8 seed, but not Northwestern. I think Northwestern is a complete team coming in hot at the right time. and I think they get their first ever tournament win against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's one of those teams that I don't know how they got in, but they got in. Notre Dame's going to roll over Princeton easily. So is West Virginia over Bucknell. Here's one of those games where it's like, oh, it's a tough time deciding. You pop up this little feature here and you look at everything, and first thing you notice is everything's even. You know, look at this. I mean, by 0.3%, maybe the 3 point margin goes a little bit over to Maryland, but it's a very even matchup, and I think this is going to be one of those overtime games that Maryland is actually going to take. This one is another fun one. It's going to be in Orlando. Florida State going against the Eagles, the Seminoles and Eagles here, matching up in Orlando. And I just think that, everybody talks about Florida State offense, and I mean, it really is true. And, they did lose 8 games, but at the same time, I don't think that the Seminoles are going to let, the Eagles to beat them in their state, So I think the Seminoles are going to take on Maryland there uh, in the second round, round of 32. It's going to be a close game, though. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Dunk City, you guys remember, with the Eagles a couple years back. Another one of those schools. There's a lot of anchors and writers who come out of Florida Gulf Coast. St. Mary's against Virginia Commonwealth. Here I like St. Mary's. I just think they're the better team overall, both sides of the ball. They played against Gonzaga, and they know how to stay in games. Then Arizona over North Dakota. To the Midwest, like UC Davis coming out of this. I think that's North or Central Carolina, something like that. But I like UC Davis just because the Aggie bias. I'm from Los Angeles, but I'm here in San Jose, and UC Davis is pretty nearby, so just go with them. But I think they'll get bounced out regardless by the Jayhawks. I like Miami. Michigan State's one of those teams that just annoys me. That just one, don't get it wrong. I like Michigan State. I like the program. I like the school. I like the coach. But I don't know why they're in here. I don't know how they made it into the tournament, and I just don't feel they deserve to be here. That's why I'm going with Miami to take on Kansas in the second round. Next up, this is one of those games where I'm like, damn, uh, I can't go against Monte Morris. Monte Morris is one of the best point guards in the league, in the NCAA. And man, I mean, what he's done, the turnover ratio, all that, every little stat you look on him, it's crazy. They did lose 10 games. They're that fifth seed. That towards the bottom of the power conference. But Nevada, they play teams like San Jose State, play teams like Utah State, Boise State over the course of the year. Um, so their BPI is probably a bit lower. That's why they're 12. But at the same time, I like Nevada. It's hard to go against Iowa State just because of Monte Morris, but Nevada with Cameron Oliver and their two star freshman guards, I mean they're definitely going to be higher than a 12 seed in future tournaments to come. I like Purdue though. I like Purdue here against Vermont. I really don't think Vermont has a chance. I don't even know what conference they're in, to be honest, but Purdue in the Big Ten, power conference there, and 4 seed coming out. The what's his name? Caleb Swanigan, I think he's the best big man in college basketball right now in terms of performance and consistency. So this will be a fun game to watch. Very contrastic type game here with guard play versus big play, and we'll see who gets out of that later. Creighton and Rhode Island. Rhode Island's a hard team to go against, but I think Creighton will pull it off. I think Creighton will. I think this is another type of overtime game that will occur in the first round. And here, I like Iona. Oregon. Oregon is a very a fast-paced team, and with Dylan Brooks there, I'm a fan of Dylan Brooks, but when Boucher went down, when Chris Boucher went down with that torn ACL against Cal, that was that nail in the coffin basically for their season. That's why I think they went from. I think they should have gotten a 2 seed if Boucher wouldn't have gone down. But the committee saw with that, and they have the right to change the seeding due to injury, and I just think Iona is just one of those teams, that dark horse type team that's just gonna come in and really make a run for their squad there. Here, I like Oklahoma State. I don't know what it is about Michigan. I just can't root for the Wolverines there, and Louisville with Rick Pitino and that you know tradition that goes on down there. I like Seton Hall, and I like Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee, man, another 30-win team. Oh man, this team is gonna make a run. I'm telling you guys, they're gonna play Butler in the second round, and here Kansas State is gonna beat Wake Forest and beat Cincinnati. I think Kansas State really has a good squad right now. They're gonna play UCLA though, and that's where their run is gonna cut short. It's gonna get cut short. Wichita State, I think they're a 6 seed. I don't think they're a 10 seed. I really don't understand why they won 30 games. I mean, they play in a power conference. It just really doesn't make sense to me why, they're a 10 seed. And this really ruins it for Kentucky, because Kentucky is pissed off that, Wichita, Dayton as well. I mean, don't count out Dayton, but man, all these teams right here, these three teams besides Wichita is like, what the hell to the committee, because you're setting them up. You're lying basically. They're not a 10 seed. In my opinion, they're a 6 seed. I think they're gonna play UCLA in the second round, and Middle Tennessee is gonna beat Butler. I just don't think Butler is the same team as they were over the past several seasons. And UNC is gonna play Middle Tennessee. Oklahoma State versus Louisville. Yeah, it's really no question about that. I just think Louisville is just too strong suited and too prepared to go down to a team like Oklahoma State. And I think Iona will beat Creighton in a back and forth high scoring battle here. I mean, you look at this: 80 points per game, 82 points per game, both top 20 in the nation in that. And then with defense, I mean, they just allow too much. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring duel in the second round in the Midwest region versus Creighton and Iona. I think Iona will take it. And then here, I like Purdue over Nevada. I think Nevada is going to get cut short here, but man, Nevada has a good team, I'm telling you guys. And Kansas is going to beat Miami to play Purdue. Nova's going to advance versus Wisconsin, and so is Virginia. A lot of people are counting out Virginia just because of this, but I think once they get by Wilmington, it's a pretty easy game. Honestly, either of these two teams plays Virginia. Virginia can handle both of them. I know Virginia does have 10 losses. They're a very scrappy type of team, but I think, here, everything points to Eastern Tennessee. Eastern Tennessee is a really good team. Don't get me wrong. But I just think Virginia has that, that X factor in parentheses that, can really change a game around. SMU Baylor, I like SMU. Earlier before the committee announced this bracket, I had Baylor going in deep. But I seen them, where they were placed. SMU just right above them, and I'm like, man, they can't get past the Mustangs. And I like Duke advancing over Marquette. I like Gonzaga. I think Northwestern's run stops there, and they're gonna play the Irish. That's gonna be a hell of a game in the West region. All right, and then moving on down to the West, or still in the West. I like Florida State to beat Maryland, and I like Arizona there. I think Arizona versus St. Mary's. That's gonna be one good game. Both teams. I forgot if they met during the season, but I mean, look at that. Combined for only 8 losses. You know, they're let's just see them head to head. I mean, St. Mary's is just a crazy team, but I think Arizona with Sean Miller, the way he's led that program, with Alonzo Trier and Laurie Mackinson, the 7 footer, it's just going to be too much for St. Mary's. I don't know if they've, like I said, I don't know if they've played each other, but if they haven't, St. Mary's is not used to that type of caliber team, and I think Arizona gets by St. Mary's, in 3 to 5 point game there. Uh, so yeah, so that's my Sweet 16. I think Nova gets past Virginia here. I think Virginia is gonna come up short again, but they're really no match for the defending champs. And I think SMU beats Duke by a very large margin. I think Duke comes out of the gate slow in this one. Just is too cocky. Coach K, obviously he's back and everything, but man, SMU is like just on another level right now. I think they're really, really feeling themselves, and I think that they get past Duke easily. I think it's just Duke's bad day or something like that. Um, yeah, so Nova, SMU in the East. In the West, I think Gonzaga is going to beat Notre Dame in San Jose, and Arizona is going to beat Florida State and advance to the Elite Eight again. And I think Purdue gets by Kansas, though. That's my upset. It's my first one seed out. I think Purdue, with with the way they play, their style of play, they're in a power conference. They've played big teams in big moments, and I just think they get it done. Like I said earlier, Caleb Swanigan, man, this guy's just leading them, carrying them. I do like Kansas guards, Trey Mason, Josh Jackson. Don't get me wrong, two of the best, probably the best tandem in the country right now, best backcourt by far. But I just think another type of contrasting game here. Same with Purdue, but I think this is college basketball has transformed itself. Purdue is that old-fashioned big, you know, feed the guy on the block type team, and I just think Kansas will, evaporate if that's the right word, uh, as the game goes on. I think Purdue runs away with this one. Iona and Louisville. Iona's run stops there, and Middle Tennessee is going to beat North Carolina. Again, I don't know how North Carolina. I don't know if I mentioned it to this stream, but North Carolina, I don't think they deserve to be the one. They're not the same team as last year, and they lost it to Duke earlier in the season. Um, I really don't know how they're a one seed. I mean, Duke, they're arguably a one seed. Arizona's arguably a one seed. But man, here I think Kentucky should have been a one, UCLA a two, North Carolina a three. That's just my opinion. I mean, you lose 7 games. Kentucky should have been a one, UCLA a two. I know UCLA beat Kentucky. I think Kentucky beat UNC. That's the only reason why I would give the number one to UK. But still, either way, Kentucky got out. They're gonna beat. They're gonna lose to Wichita State. UCLA is gonna beat Wichita State though, and face Middle Tennessee here and win. So UCLA is gonna be in the Final Four. Uh, Gonzaga is gonna be in the Final Four. I think this is gonna be a crazy game. One of those high-scoring affairs, maybe overtime, double overtime. I don't know. This game is probably going to be the most rated game of the Elite Eight. And then you have Nova against SMU. This is going to be a fun matchup just because of the defense. Look at this. Third in points allowed, 11th in points allowed. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, but it's going to be, to the end. It's going to be a close game throughout. Villanova's second in free throw percentage, 80%. It's going to be one of those games where, it's going to be tight, tight, tight. Villanova's going to make a run. SMU's going to try to come back. They can't. They foul. Villanova's going to make their free throws and extend the lead. And Villanova is going to make it to the Final Four again. And here, Louisville is going to get past Purdue. I don't know how. That's just a gut feeling. I just think Louisville has so much experience with Coach Pitino, and they're going to make it into the last 4 teams to face UCLA. On this side, Gonzaga, Nova, that's just a toss-up, honestly. You match these 2 guys up. I mean, just look at that. That says it all right there. I mean, just even throughout. I mean, Gonzaga, though, has just been a different team, and I think it's their year. Villanova is pretty much the same team as last season, and I don't know. I just think sometimes change needs to happen, and Villanova is gonna fall out of the tournament in the Final Four, and UCLA is gonna beat Louisville. I just like what Lonzo, Leaf, and Alford are doing there. And here, Gonzaga's gonna take it, and it's gonna be about 160 total points. Maybe like a 75 to 70, something like that. 85, 80, I don't know. I don't even know how to do math anymore, but yeah, about 160 sounds about right as combined score. UCLA is going to win the Gonzaga is going to win the national championship. Yeah, for the first time in their history. So we'll see. I'm not going to put this in the group just because I'll probably do that later. All right, guys, signing out. Peace out.